Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to do a video doing my predictions for the main event for EMEA Stage 1 for the Overwatch Champions Series here in 2024. 8 teams remaining in the EMEA region for this stage. They are Twisted Minds, Quick Esports, Rock Esports, Oblivione, Bubo Spray Check, Team Peps, Space Station Gaming, and Sheer Cold. Those 8 teams are the 8 teams competing for the points and the prize money that is at the end of this main event. So today, let's talk about what I think is going to happen. I'm not going to do a full bracket breakdown. I will show you my bracket and who I have winning the whole thing, and I'll explain why. But let's first throw up the blank bracket, the bracket that we'll be getting when these matches kick off. So you can see round 1. Twisted Minds will be facing off against Quick Esports. Twisted Minds won Group A. Quick came second Group B. Then you have Rock Esports, the winners of Group C, versus Oblivione, the runners-up for Group D. You have Bubo Spray Check, the winners of Group B, up against Team Peps, the runners-ups for Group A. And Space Station Gaming, the winners of Group D, versus Sheer Cold, the runners-up for Group C. So those are your teams. They will be competing in a double elimination bracket, as you would expect from most double elim brackets. No, nothing crazy here from the bracket. So, for those of you who are curious, let's take a look now at my predictions. I don't have any scores here, just don't feel like it, but I do have my completed bracket for you to look at. So, as you can see with my bracket, you can see all of my picks, and you can see I do have the team that most people are probably going to say is their top pick to win it all, Twisted Minds winning this bracket. But I do want to talk a bit about kind of all of the teams, all of the games, and my opinions so far on these teams after what we've seen so far in the EMEA matches. Twisted Minds obviously comes into this tournament as the favorite. They were the number 1 overall seed following the Swiss. They've looked unstoppable. The core of this team is mostly the Team Saudi Arabia roster that won the World Cup back in November. So for a lot of reasons, they should be one of the teams that people have kind of towards the top of this tournament. I think they are going in the best position. The meta obviously is a little in flux with these changes that just came through. We had a week of Mauga, and now Mauga got nerfed again, so whether or not he's going to be the meta, we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to kind of see, if we go back to that week 1 meta, well, that's where we saw Twisted Minds, Rock, Bubo, Space Station kind of have their success. So I do think Twisted Minds is still the best team right now in EMEA. I think they should be the favorites to win it all. I think they're still the best looking team until we've seen a team prove otherwise. That's kind of where I have them. Quick is an interesting team for them to play round 1. I think Quick is a decent team. I think they kind of just got unlucky by the draw. They open up against Twisted Minds. I think they're going to lose that game. Then you can see in lower bracket, I have Rock beating Oblivione in the upper bracket, knocking Oblivione down to play Quick. And I think Quick is probably, in my honest opinion, I like Quick better than I like Team Peps. I like Quick better than I like Sheer Cold. They should be, or at least in any other kind of tournament, or if they were on the other side of the bracket, I think they would beat a Peps or a Sheer Cold, but I think they get unlucky on this side of the bracket, having to go up against TM and EXO. It just is an unfortunate turn of events for a team that I do think, generally speaking, is quite good, and has shown quite decent performances. Obviously, winning against a left-right good night team that they had lost to earlier in the tournament was pretty impressive. So that's unfortunate for them, but I really like a lot of the teams in EMEA. EMEA is interesting. I think it's a little bit more competitive than North America, though interestingly enough, I think it was spread out a little more. I think with NA, there were some teams in the same groups that are both like pretty good, whereas here, all of the good teams, the best teams were pretty much all separated with the exception of EXO and SSG. They were in the same group, but like Twisted Minds was far and away better than everyone else in their group. Rock was far and away better than everyone else in their group. Booba was far and away better than everyone else in their group. So it's interesting to look at how that breakdown happened. But yeah, I think no surprise, Twisted Minds is my pick to win the whole thing. And unfortunate that Quick has to go up against them round one. And I think it's unlikely to go super well for them just as a result of the fact that they then would have to play two very good teams, one of two very good teams, if they were to lose to even if they won, right? They just are not really lucky in that regard. I think the most interesting round one game for me, the one that I'm most intrigued by, is Rock Esports versus Exlevione. And the reason why is that, in my honest opinion, this is the game that has this is really the only round one game that I think has the potential to be a banger. Maybe there's another one. Maybe Sheer Cold is better than I think they are. But to me, I thought Rock Esports had a very easy-looking group. And maybe it was only easy-looking because Rock is just that good of a team. But I was not super impressed with Sheer Cold, or Aw Yeah for that matter, who finished third in the group. And so to me, Rock is a very hard team to read how good they are, because I don't think we've really seen them get challenged yet in this tournament yet, or in the OWCS yet. And so Exlevione, who I think are one of the teams that could go for a good run in this tournament, are a team I'm really interested to see play against them, because I think there's a potential world where Exlevione is the third best team in EMEA. We just don't know yet, right? Maybe they're the fourth, maybe they're the fifth. We just don't really know what to expect from them yet. We haven't really seen them play anybody outside of SSG in this kind of part of the tournament. So I want to see this game more than any other game in EMEA. I think it's the most fascinating game of the entire lot, and it's the one I'm most excited for. I think Rock should win. I like what Rock Esports roster is. I like Izayaki and Checkmate as part of this roster. I think they're very solid players. I think that at the end of the day, they are the difference makers. And I think that there's a little bit more, in my opinion, talent that has proven themselves, has been, especially when you consider the fact that this Rock Esports roster was playing in the Saudi E-Leagues recently. And I think there's just been a little bit more time spent together with some of these rosters, that I think they're good. And I think that it'll be a very close game, potentially. It's the only one that I think really could go to a 5-mapper here in this first round, but I just have to give the faith to Rock. They have two Overwatch champions in their roster. They have some very talented players coming out of Saudi Arabia. They're not the best players coming out of Saudi Arabia, considering they were not the players that made up the Saudi Arabia roster, but still very, very good players, and I think it's going to be an interesting match to watch for that reason. I do think Rock is better. I do think they'll win the game, but it's a game I'm very interested in seeing. Bubo Spraycheck, Team Peps, they play round one. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge believer in Team Peps. I don't think they look all that interesting or all that impressive. I have not really been impressed by much of their play. They're kind of an underwhelming team. They're fine. They have some good players on their team, and there's definitely some reason to look at them and think that they could do something and could cause a bit of trouble in the bracket, especially if Bubo Spraycheck doesn't play to their best. But I really like Bubo Spraycheck. I really like the players they have on their team. I really think their DPSs look phenomenal. I think that their tank duo has been very good. I think they just look very solid. Look, that team, a lot of their team is the core from Team Finland, which did very well in the World Cup as well. Plus, you add in some incredible DPS players with Kevster and Kai. I just think there's not really a world in which Team Peps is able to really push Bubo Spraycheck very far. I just think they've looked better. I think they've been the better team. They've been very consistent. They've had a pretty easy run so far in this tournament. I don't think Team Peps is going to be a team that really gets in their way. And then with Space Station for Sheer Cold, I honestly, in my personal opinion, Sheer Cold is the weakest team of the 8 that are remaining. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have not been super impressed by them. They struggled against a Junkrat one trick on Aw Yeah. No offense, Aw Yeah, but Junkrat one trick, or at least an OTP, very, very good Junkrat player, kind of the hero of choice there. So I don't love what we've seen out of Sheer Cold. I think SSG had they were tested against Exlevione. They've had to fight a bit for this spot, so I think they're going to be battle-hardened. I think the move away from Mauga will be good for them. I think the lack of really solid Doomfist play could hurt them. They're probably going to play Winston. We'll see how that goes for them. But I think this is the kind of game where just talent alone should be enough to get them over the edge. I think they just have way more in that department, and I think they should take the win there. Upper bracket will go there. Just kind of talk about it. Twisted Minds, I think, is a better team. I think, like I said, they should beat Rock. Could be super one-sided, I don't really know. I think these are the two teams that played in the finals of Saudi E-League, so they've played against each other a lot. They know how the other team operates, how the other team plays, so it'll be fun to watch that. But I, like most people, favor Twisted Minds in that matchup. Bubo Spraycheck for Space Station Gaming. They played in the Swiss rounds. Not how much do you put stake into that now? Up to you. But Bubo Spraycheck did win. I think this game will be pretty close. I think that it's a pretty evenly matched game between two pretty good teams. But I think Bubo Spraycheck just has their number. I think they're a little bit better on pretty much every role. I'll be interested to see if SSG rocks Psycho like full time, because I thought he looked really good so far, not just in the Swiss stage when they played against Bubo Spraycheck, but also just in general. I thought that Psycho has looked very, very good for this team, and I think he really should be their primary, or at least he should be pretty heavily featured in the rotation. But gosh, I think Bubo Spraycheck is so good. Their core is so good. And I think they just have they have a little bit more firepower and just kind of flash that I trust a little bit more than SSG. But I think it's pretty close. And then, of course, I have Twisted Minds winning the upper bracket finals. I think we all understand why. They just, right now, they look like the most complete team. And until someone beats them, not really reason to pick against them. In the lower bracket, like I said, I think Ex-Oblivione very good. I think they are probably, they're at least top 5. And I think there's a bit of a gap between them and the next 3. I think they're one of the only teams outside of the top 4. I'll even say it, the only team outside of the top 4 that could maybe go on a run here. That could maybe upset some teams. That could maybe make a top 4 finish. But it's a tough one to really figure out, because obviously they're going to have to run through some really good teams if they want to get there in the first place. But I wouldn't even be shocked if they were a team that won their first round game and was victorious against Rocky Sports and fell to Twisted Minds. So we'll see what happens there. But I think they should be able to beat Quick pretty easily. Peps were sheer cold. I mean, I don't really care about either of these teams. I don't think either of them are particularly good. I think Peps is more well-balanced. I think they're a little bit... I trust them a little bit more. I don't love their Doomfist play or lack thereof, which does give me cause for concern if that is the meta we go back to. But I still feel really good about the rest of their team. They have good DPS, and I think they should be able to walk away from that one with the win. You have SSG Ex-Oblivione, if my bracket, of course, holds true, which would be a rematch of their really good, solid 5-map game that they played in the group stage. This is a game I want to see. I think it could go either way this time. I think Ex-Oblivione's best chance is hoping that SSG has to go Winston and just doesn't feel comfortable in Doomfist, and that's the way the meta unfolds. Maybe EXO can exploit that and can find a way to win. It's tough. I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. I want to see them play again to see where the improvements are, because you look at a game like what I mentioned with Quick versus Left Right Good Night, where Left Right Good Night 3-0'd Quick the first time they played, and then Quick comes back and 3-0's them the second time. Right, we're seeing some of those bounce backs. We had a 3-2 both times at Sheer Cold, and Oh Yeah played. Sheer Cold winning both of those games. So maybe this time EXO can push SSG to a 2-2 game and win that final map. We'll have to see. But to me, another game that I think is phenomenal. I think any game Ex-Oblivion plays against one of the top 4 can be good, because I just think they're that solid of a team. So to me, they're the team I have my eyes on the most to potentially kind of disrupt this bracket, because they are the team that I think has the best potential of any non-top contender. A Rock versus Team Peps game, give me Rock. Like I said, I don't fully believe in Team Peps. I think Rock is more talent. I think they're just a little bit too dominant for a team like Peps. It's been a lot of 3-0s in every region. And I would honestly not be shocked if there were still more to come in this tournament. Space Station versus Rock, if they were to play, really tough game for me to pick. I went back and forth in this one. I think a lot of my thing with Rock is I don't know. I have a pretty good idea of what to expect out of SSG. I know these players. To me, they're way more of a known quantity. They have a very particular kind of play style. I kind of know what they're going to do, and they've been tested. I've seen them have to really kind of push themselves, and compete in a pretty tough matchup. I have literally seen nothing out of Rock so far because they've been pretty dominant, and it's really tough to kind of get a read on where they are as a team. So I want to say that SSG is my pick, and it's like a really confident pick. It's not. Rock is probably the better team if we go based on their results, but I just don't know enough to feel comfortable saying that I definitively picked them. I don't think it really matters. I don't think whoever wins this game makes it anyway. I do think that Bubo is the better team, and I think Bubo and Twisted Minds will be the grand final. I think those are the two best teams in EMEA, and I think no matter what happens in this game, that will still be the case. But this is one of those games that I think should be pretty good because we don't really know what to expect. And the reality is, right, Rock is going to be, at this point in time, Rock is going to be pretty battle-hardened because they're going to have played EXO and Twisted Minds already. And, I mean, who knows if Peps is going to be a really good team, but they're going to have played some really tough competition on their way here. And so will have SSG, to be fair. Bubo, Spraycheck, Exilivione, two very solid cores and very solid rosters, but I'm honestly just favoring the known quantity for me that is SSG, and that's why I picked them, but I really could see it going either way for that one. And then the winner would face off against Bubo Spraycheck, which I think Bubo Spraycheck is a very, very good team. I think they are going to make the grand finals and play Twisted Minds, but right now I have no reason to think Twisted Minds will lose because I haven't seen them lose yet in EMEA. So there you go. There's a look at my bracket for EMEA, what I think is going to happen. I think it'll be good. I think EMEA will probably be more interesting than NA. I think NA has some good teams. I think it's an interesting region, but I think I think the gap between Twisted Minds and Bubo Spraycheck and the other top teams in this region is not as big as what you have in North America. And we'll talk about North America tomorrow, most likely. A video out to discuss what's going on in North America and my picks for North America. But I do think EMEA is a little bit more competitive. I think Twisted Minds is more vulnerable and more mortal than what you have with the Defiant in North America. I mean, Korea is a whole other thing. I think Korea, I'm honestly not even going to... I don't even know who the best team in Korea is yet. I don't know if it's Falcons or WAC, but I really like this matchup that we have throughout this bracket. I think it's a really good region, and I'm excited for this one. I think I'm slightly more excited for at least the opening round here. I don't know. North America opens up with like Defiant LFO, which is going to be a banger, and that's hard to pick against. So maybe I take that back. Maybe I disagree with what I just said already, feeling like that was a wrong take. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the EMEA region. Where do you sit? Who do you think is going to be the team that wins this EMEA region? Do you agree with me? It's me, Twisted Minds. Do you think it'll be Bubo? Do you think it'll be SSG? Let me know down below your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you as always. I enjoy having our little conversations in the comments about the games. But that's going to be all for me for today. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it in the future, consider liking and subscribing, as your support does help out a lot with the channel. Of course, NA going to be coming very, very soon, most likely tomorrow, maybe Friday. Hopefully, though, I'll get it out to you all tomorrow. But that is where I'm going to end this one. Thank you all once again. I hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. And until next time, bye-bye.